game phase.
Hello and welcome to another stream on my channel, the MAME channel. I am MAME, David Haywood, and I've been doing these MAME related streams for a while now. I've not done too many in August. This will be the fourth proper one in August, but as I mentioned on the previous one, August has been a little busy for me. However, you know, I managed to do one yesterday, I had a bit of time today, so you're going to get 2 streams in a day. It's 2 streams in a row, 2 streams in 2 days, which is the first time that's happened in August. So, no real plan for this one. I'm just going to play some random games. I've come up with a little list of things I want to look at, and I thought I'd start with this one, which is a bit of a puzzle bobble knockoff, and I could talk a little bit about it. But yes, hello and welcome to everybody who's already here. I see we've got messages from Carlo asking, well, saying, not Chopper 1. No. Yes, I might be looking at Chopper 1, SNK's shooter. Lo-Fi Kills suggesting I look at Violent Storm. I may do that. It's not the best emulated, but I can still have a look at it. We've got Aussie Guy, Mo Burma, both saying hello. We've got 100% Hammy, I believe, who's done quite a few things for MAME over the years. We've got Ingu, and we've got R09, so not the busiest start, but that's okay. I mean, I know people have things to do on their Saturdays, so anybody lurking, welcome to you too. And I guess I'll turn the volume back up, as is tradition, because, you know, silence isn't great. I'll change my view, and I'll full screen this one. Now, why did I pick a Candy Puzzle? Well, I was looking over games that don't get covered much, and I fired it up, and I also saw that there was a cow in a track mode. And, you know, any game with a cow anywhere in it has to be featured on these streams, doesn't it? Because it's kind of tradition at this point. Even if cow is apparently not here yet. But hey cow, if you are watching later, there is a cow in the attract mode here, and it goes moo, or it just says moo on the screen. Anyway, hey Mr. Midas, welcome to you as well. I hope you're doing well. And there is our cow going moo on the screen, because this is a mix of different ideas from different puzzle bobble style games. So it's got puzzle de ponar elements too. And as Hammy says, he thinks there's a hidden card game in this one. And I believe there is, which has adult pictures. But I believe this game itself is nice and safe. I say that. I'm crossing both my fingers. Well, you know, two sets of fingers. But we'll see. Anyway, here goes. So, what is this? Well, you can see it's a puzzle bobble knockoff. That much is obvious. But what else is there to say about it? It runs on Amiga CD32 hardware. Specifically, a piece of hardware called the Cubo 32, which just took a retail CD32 unit, an Amiga CD32, which was an AGA Amiga console system, so it didn't really have all the usual keyboard and stuff. It was marketed as a console. You could buy accessories like keyboard. But this company, I believe in Italy, CD Express, decided to use the platform as the basis for some arcade games. Most of them are kind of bad quiz games with lots of adult content. But then you've got Candy Puzzle, which is... So it's puzzle bobble. Now there are a few irritating things about this. Of note, when the bubbles are exploding, you can't move the cursor. That's probably the most annoying part. So you can't really prepare your shots in time. But other than that, it's a fairly competent puzzle bobble knockoff. It's got a number of unique features, such as the power-ups that regular puzzle bobble doesn't have. A foil sticker over the Amiga logo. Yeah. So you can see I get that, and then I've got a rocket I can launch which just destroys balls. You get the points ones, you get this one, which I believe turns this into this, I can't remember what one does actually. Anyway, the different power-ups give you different bonus features. Aiming isn't perfect, but it's better than some of the knockoffs I've played. And I'm just not very good at aiming. There we go, that's better. Now, it boasts over 500 levels, so I guess there's some randomization to the levels you get. And yeah, I'm doing well, thank you, Mr. Midas. I hope you are too. I hope everybody is in the chat, in fact, because, you know, I wouldn't want anybody here to be, you know, struggling, but people do struggle, so I hope if anybody is struggling, you know, things get better for them. But yeah, I did play this earlier, and these aren't the same set of levels I got presented with, so clearly this is randomised. Now, I don't know if this came out on the Amiga in any form as a PD game or otherwise. I've got some sort of aiming thing accessory going on here. But I've not checked. It's not one I knew about back in the day. Although it would have been, if it came out, it would have probably been quite late, because it's quite a late AGA game, and that would have, you know, required at least an Amiga 1200, if not the CD system on which this is running. But I don't really think it's using anything in the way of advanced CD features here. It's definitely not using anything like the MPEG encoding or, you know, the fancy things. It's a fairly standard game, just using the, you know, the 256 colour mode. Now, different levels do have different objectives. The attract mode did explain some of that. I don't think the CD music loops there. That might be an emulation bug. Is that going to get all the way up there? No, it is not. But you can see it runs smoothly. It's colourful. The pieces are animated. I don't think it's got the scoring depth of a proper version of Puzzle Bobble, which is one thing most of the knockoffs miss. I mean, you know, on a proper Puzzle Bobble game, you get far more points if you're causing multiple pieces to drop when you get a chain, or, you know, any kind of line of pieces. Whereas I think this is just standard, but it does at least, you know, not give you pieces that aren't on the board anymore. Because there's some Puzzle Bobble knockoffs that fail to do that and keep giving you pieces you no longer even have on the board, which is just broken. The hacks doing it on the real Amiga now, the MAME. Yeah, so it wasn't one I was aware of. It's a shame that more Amiga games didn't make it to these Amiga-based platforms. So this round I've only got 1 second to shoot the ball. That's the novelty here. So it's a fast-paced round that's meant to basically kill me off. Although the structure of this level might mean it's not too bad. So I think randomly it will give you that on certain levels. But this is quite an easy level anyway, so we are somewhat lucky, I think. Mega bonus, 10,000 points. Not complaining about that. So this is one of those puzzled upon R style levels again, just like the last one was really, where you've got to free the piece. It tells you the bits you need to clear to free the piece. So we've got that power up again. Oh yeah, this one allows you to move left and right, that's it. Though you move left and right with up and down, just to be confusing. So when I've got this, I can actually move along, at least until it runs out. That wasn't very clever. So again, it's got things that Puzzle Bobble doesn't have, which, you know, is what I'm looking for in any kind of knockoff. It's at least got to do something that I wouldn't get with the proper game. Otherwise, there's absolutely no reason to play it over just a proper version of Puzzle Bobble. I mean, I'm not saying that you're going to go out your way to play this one if you can play Puzzle Bobble, but at least if you're playing it, you're not going to feel like you're just playing Puzzle Bobble. Plus, you know, I kind of like the graphical style. Sort of reminds me of Pure Pure with the faces and everything, and adds a bit of character to it. It's just a shame it doesn't control a little better. And they're very very Amiga voice samples, aren't they? R09. Exactly what you'd expect from an Amiga and voice samples. Just screaming and stuff that doesn't really seem like it has any place in the game. But at the same time, it doesn't seem too bad. I mean, I'm not going to say it's brilliant because it's not. I'm doing far worse than I should be doing on this. Right, is that free? Yeah, there we go. Took a minute and 54 seconds. So yeah, the music isn't looping, which, say, maybe a bug. It might be CD audio that's meant to loop. But, you know, given the state of MAME's Amiga emulation, it's kind of surprising this one runs as well as it does. I'm guessing it's not really pushing the features of the Amiga. It's probably just using, say, the 256 colour AGA mode. But it works. You can play it. Some of the other games on the Cubo 32 have more severe glitches. I did have to stretch the screen out because the the overscan areas that are usually displayed, but again, MAME makes that quite easy. Yeah, I thought you know, since we'd looked at Bubble Buster in the previous stream as an old version of Puzzle Bobble, it'd be quite nice to cover some knockoff Puzzle Bobble games, and this was the one that came to mind to give a little test to, because it's not one I spent much time with. I don't know why, but you know, I've spent time playing things like Doll Man, but not so much this one. It's not quite as frantic as a regular version of Puzzle Bobble either. At least not unless you get those time stages where you only have a second to shoot the balls, because they're pretty tricky. So maybe you could say the difficulty scaling isn't quite there, because it does go from easy to ridiculous kind of at random. But I think the levels are kind of random. But I don't know. I've not played it enough to really know. So I don't think any Puzzle Bobble games that offer you this ability to move the base, the base you shoot from with a power up. So they have tried to do some new things, and there are other power ups. I've just not got them yet. Yeah, my power run out. Could maybe do with a bit more music. Kind of got a chilled, almost Caribbean-like track until it stops like it does there. There we go. Hey Andy, welcome. I hope you're doing well, and thank you for joining the stream again. Oh, we've got lots of bonus points on this one. So I guess the idea of this one is maybe to not clear everything and get the bonus points without clearing it all. I'm not sure. I can't do anything in that one anyway. This looks like it should be such an easy level. So I could go for, so I can clear off loads of these now. Look. So this is a bit different. Again, some thought into the level design here compared to maybe a regular version of Puzzle Bobble. I'm trying to get for all these bonuses. I can get it off there. I get a bit more off there. I'm doing very well here. There we go. So I probably got a decent bonus for doing that. And level 10? No. I probably want that to be able to move so that I can better aim these. So that's still tricky. That was bad. I'll just get that one there. I'm not getting this anywhere. Now, according to the track mode, there are levels with fixed sequences and a limited number of balls. There's a sort of breakout Arkanoid style power up too that I've not managed to get so far in playing this. I don't know when you get those, but just clearly not on the levels I've been on. I did get it earlier when testing the game. I was hoping to show it off, but it looks like the look factor is just not delivering me those at the moment. Oh, I'm out of the power up. Unfortunately, not made good progress here. But yeah, if anybody has any suggestions they want to drop in chat, feel free, because I do have a brief list of games I'd like to play today, but you know, I'm open to suggestions because there's no overall theme for this one. The only thing I'd like to make sure I do is play the games that I've listed on the preview screen. So, you know, SNK's Chopper 1, SNK's T.N.K 3, this one. What else did I list? I can't remember. I've got a list anyway. But yeah, Candy Puzzle. If you've not played, it's one of those that requires a CHD because the game came on CD, which is another reason I think people may have overlooked this one in MAME, because, you know, not everybody looks at the CHD based games, especially ones on platforms that have a reputation for just having adult games. So this may well be one of those overlooked MAME games, I feel, and I like to cover those on these streams. I'm in trouble here. Lots of trouble here. In fact, this may be, yeah, unrecoverable. So, I failed. I can enter my name. You get quite a few names, quite a few letters for your name here, so I can go the full haze. And then we've got the cow down there. I always said Z. Oh, haze with 2 Z's now. There you go. Mr. Cow is in the bottom right corner. Obviously not our resident cow, but a cow. A cow indeed. I don't wish to continue. I've played about 20 minutes of I continued anyway. I didn't want to continue. I played about 20 minutes of Candy Puzzle, and yeah. Hey Bob, welcome, welcome, welcome. And yes, I caught myself off guard doing this too. Dora-chan from Alpha Denshi. I think I played Dora-chan on a different stream, didn't I? I can't remember. I'll add it to the list. Is that the one where the colours aren't quite right? Let me note it down. Let me note it down, and I may get around to that one. There were no other suggestions, were there? And yeah, it's good to see you as well, Bob. So, you know, you're always welcome. You know, with your sometimes your fact of the day, your birthday of the day, or something like that. But it's been a while, I think, since I've seen one of those. But if you have one, then I can wish them a happy birthday. Right, now let's get one of the outtakes of the Atari stream. Because I was going to look at this on the Atari stream and did not get around to it. So we'll bring it up now. This is the Blasteroids. This is Blasteroids. It's called Blasteroids with heads, but I believe it is a prototype version of Blasteroids. Sheriff controls are weird to set up. Weird controls to set up are never good for live streaming. I could have a look at it maybe. Let me just note it down. If I get around to it. There we go. It's in my list. So, Blasteroids. And this is obviously one of Atari's attempts to do a sequel to Asteroids. You know, proper sequel. Modern graphics. I always think in terms of pre-rendered Asteroids type games, though, this gets overshadowed by, you know, Stardust, Super Stardust on the Amiga. Because Super Stardust did the formulas so much better than Atari did it themselves with this. With heads, that's what I'm going to come to in a bit, Lo-Fi Kills. Now, if you go into service mode on this one, which the reason I didn't include this on the screen is because I could not figure out how to use the service mode. Right, to get past this screen, you press the first 2 buttons. To actually change, then you can do that. Now you see it says heads for rocks. Now as long as that's not off, I think you can get the heads. But to move between them, you have to press the space button, which is 3, and then left and right. And if you want to change the options, you just press left and right. I think random 1 and random 2 are basic. I don't know if it's not fully implemented in this version, but there you go. That is how that works. But anyway, that's enabled in the service mode. And now I'll show you... yeah, there's different ship modes, but you've always... I mean, you've got the option to combine the ships as well, haven't you? Which was kind of one of the unique things with that, which we could look at in a bit. A new core rules all galaxies. See, I always like this boss. It's a bit like the one in Fantasy Zone as well, with the which you just saw. Now, the with heads thing, you go to medium warp. You complete the first level, but yeah, you can transform your ship. You've got, say, the different sizes, different speeds, different maneuverability. So this one's a lot weaker to shots, but faster. This one's super slow, but more powerful shots. And this one's the sort of in-between one. And to be fair, to be honest, you can spend most of the game just using the mid-size one. Gives you the best maneuverability and power ratio. But, yeah, so let's clear the first wave. Let's get the power. Destroy the UFO, get the power as well. And there you go. And get your warp out of here. There is an interesting bug on MAME testers for this game, where you can crash the game by not taking the warp properly. But anyway, if you blow up these blue ones, which get bigger every time you shoot them instead of smaller, in this with heads version, they turn into, you know, heads, developer heads. So I believe is this Ed's head? I put it on random and they're different colours, so there you go. So there we go. We've got 3 different coloured heads, and that is kind of the novelty bonus secret in this prototype version of the game. Sadly, you would have thought maybe it would just make all the asteroids into heads, but it doesn't. It just means that those blue ones turn into heads when you know, expand them. I don't know if they kill you, but you can collide with them. Yes, they do drain your energy if you hit them, so you don't hit them. Generally would be good advice there. Continue at the same level, yes. But there you go. That's the sort of, say, it's a secret novelty feature, hidden bonus thing in the prototype version of the game. And unfortunately, it's always the same head. It's not different types of heads. It's just that head. But I think a lot of people maybe see the with heads thing and don't know how to trigger it. You know, just think it's going to turn the asteroids into heads, and it doesn't. But, yeah, that's how it works. Hey Thomas, welcome. I hope you're doing well. I won't be playing any video pack today because it's an arcade stream this time. I'll probably be doing more non-arcade stuff next month, time permitting. It's just, say, the non-arcade stuff takes a lot longer to prepare and research. So when I'm short on time, unfortunately, you're stuck with basically arcade coverage. Which, you know, I do like to cover a greater variety, but at the same time, I need to know what I'm playing. I need to do the research. And when I'm pressed for time, I can't do that. Yeah, change to the smaller ship, zoom around, change to the bigger ship. Now, I played a lot of this on the home system. This bigger ship is so slow. They've almost made it too slow. Anyway, I was saying that if you enable the second player... I'm getting it pulled towards the warp now. If you enable the second player... which I'm going to do shortly. Now, if you set the second player to the smallest ship... I believe that's how you combine the ships in this. Although, trying to do this... this is very fiddly to do with only one person. And all these asteroids flying around. But, there you go. So you combine ships. So, now player 2... If you do that, player 2 becomes the turret. So it's one of those rare games where you can join the ships up as a power-up. I mean... Toplan's Dogugun does the same thing. You can join the ships up. But, I think this was probably one of the first games to do that. I can't remember any earlier ones, at least. Yeah, I do want to continue. Thank you. Yes. I should have probably done this on the first level when it wasn't so busy. In fact, let's reset. So let's go to easy warp. And let's just show that feature when there's less to actually kill me. No, so you do it here. Yeah, docked ships have special weapons. So you see now player 2 collisions. Yeah, I know it's typical. So you see the player 1 still. You have more speed as well, docked. So you've got a fast ship a big ship that is fast, but also player 2 is now the turret. So that's kind of a neat little feature this game had. And one that maybe gets overlooked these days because most people are just playing on a PC with a single player. But the home ports of it allowed this too, and it's just one of the things I remember doing with a friend. So you're watching Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, were you, Thomas? Yeah, those Lord of the Rings do take a while. And you start the next level fully docked. Also, you can crash through asteroids like this, so it does still cost you energy. It's basically, if you've got a mate and you want to be a bit overpowered, have some fun. There you go. So I just wanted to show that off with Blasteroids. I think a lot of people aren't aware of the heads feature in this one, even though it says with heads and how to activate it. And also, I think a lot of people aren't aware of this, this special power-up, this docked mode. Lightning Fighters has a 2-player co-op protect. I wasn't aware of that one, Carlo. I might have to check that one on a future stream then. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really using this to the full ability because I'm just playing this as single player, but it's kind of neat. A lot of people don't like Blasteroids. I'm not really sure why. I've always felt it to be, a decent sequel to Asteroids. It's not got the vector charm, but I think for pre-rendered graphics, these actually work. And it's got, it's got the bosses. It's got what you'd want in an update. So personally, I can't complain about it. Now, I am going to briefly pause and just do my research here because I want to try and see if this bug that is on MAME testers still applies, or if it applies to this prototype version, because it doesn't state if it applies. It doesn't state if it applies to this version or only the main set. So let's see. Start a new game. Okay, yeah, it's quite simple. Okay. So I don't know if this works on the set, but start a game. Don't select any warp. Now, is there an actual time limit on the warp on the prototype, or did they break this on a later version? Because it basically says stay in the middle and don't warp. Oh yeah, you run out of energy, so your energy does decrease even on the screen. So you see my energy is going down. I can probably help it go down by 5 more maybe, I don't know. Apologies, I've currently got the chat covered up, so I'm running low on energy, yeah. Now, of course, this is intentionally breaking the game. Any normal player of the game would be going to one of these warps. But I'm actively avoiding the warps, because apparently that's how you trigger the bug. I do want to see this tested on real hardware to see it actually glitches on real hardware. There you go. So, yeah, it gives you the continue screen with corrupt graphics and starts you on round 1 with bad colours. Now, personally, I think this is almost guaranteed to happen on real hardware because it's an oversight in the programming of the game. They don't expect anybody to stall on that select screen. And if you do, it kind of just messes up what level it thinks you're on. And you get this. You get all the gloriously broken background colours. It fixes itself after a while, but I think in some cases you can end up crashing the game by doing that. But yeah, that was a little novelty bug that I'm pretty sure will happen in the original game. But as far as I know, nobody's actually confirmed it. But if anybody has a Blasteroids PCB and wants to try and do that, I'm kind of curious to see if it does break the game. I'm pretty sure it will. Yeah, Simpsons, Golden Axe 2 and Simpsons, yeah, I was aware of those. I was talking more about shooters. Twin B, you can combine ships. Okay, I never tried to combine ships in Twin B, so that's another one. So Twin B probably predates this, so I'm just wondering which was the first game to allow combined players like that. And obviously you've got Gallagher with its combined ship bonus thing, but that's not quite the same. That's not two-player, that's sacrificing one of your lives for a second player. But yeah, that bug I'm showing is on MAME testers, and it does go into more detail about what happens afterwards. And I think if I keep playing this level, it will eventually kind of mess up. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't force it. You know, actually, you know, really increase gravity towards one of the portals or something like that. But they didn't. And therefore, I mean, these things, maybe nobody ever discovered that at the time. So maybe it didn't matter. It's a lot easier to criticise these things, you know, after the fact. But if nobody triggered it at the time, then did it matter? I don't know. But yeah, I think I can't remember how it makes things worse later, but I think it does. But you get the idea. This is Blasteroids, sequel to Asteroids. Personally, I think it's pretty good. But I've seen people put it on their sort of worst game lists. I don't think it's deserving of that. Yeah, the big ship's completely useless in single player mode. It's just too slow. You get the idea. I'm not going to get to the boss level because the other, you know, when you do that bug, it also puts you on the hardest difficulty, which is most sections to clear. And that's going to take a while, but Blasteroids. They say solid Asteroids type game. Better than, say, those updates to... Oh, look, there's a cow in the high score table. There you go, cow. You're in the high score table too. I didn't even put you there. No Bob in the high score table, though. There's some dogs and some ants and some rats and an LVR. Yeah, we were looking at a lot of those R09 yesterday. Some rather bad Atari games. But yeah, Blasteroids, I think it's a pretty good game, to be honest. Right. Okay, I'm going to go through the ones that I put on the preview screen first before I actually forget about them. Because I know what I'm like. So let's go with SNK's Chopper 1. Why is it Chopper 1? I don't know. It's Legend of Air Cavalry in Japan, I think. Lego Fair as the set name, which always makes me think of a fair where they have lots of Lego, but it's nothing to do with Lego. But anyway, this is a shoot 'em up. Yeah, the little ship's good for chasing the bonuses, Robert. No, I don't think there's a Chopper 2. That is something we'll be talking about later. Because it's not the only time SNK did something like this. Yeah, the sound is really good on this. That, for a game from when? 88? It's an 8-bit game. Capcom had better hardware, but I think the presentation values of this one hold up really well. A bit loud, so I'm going to turn it down a little bit. But it's got decent looking explosions, responsive controls. You can tell it's an 8-bit shooter rather than, say, a 16-bit CPS shooter from Capcom. But it does hold up better than anybody gives it credit for, I think. Badly balanced, you feel, Carlo. Yeah, it's not the best balanced game, but it's still fun to be had in it. It does have checkpoints, which means I'm going to struggle with it, but I'm not very good at it. You can get plenty of shots off. It's not one of those limits your fire rate too badly. The good music is rather drowned out by me mashing the fire button and all the effects though. But I don't know how much of this you're going to see because, yeah, I am kind of bad at it. But yeah, so you shoot the guys on the ground. It's not too complex. You've got your shots, you've got your bombs. It's not one of those with separate ground and air attacks. You can fire the stuff on the ground with your regular attacks. Hey Evie, thank you for joining. I'll talk to you later. I hope work went well for you. And yeah, it's it's just after 7, isn't it? You finished, you got home. Oh good, I didn't realise it was that late already actually. I've already been streaming for a good 40 minutes. Yeah, I hope you're doing well and thank you for joining. And I'll chat to you later. And I'll also see you tomorrow if you end up falling asleep before I'm finished. So this is where I probably should just find the cheat file and put, you know, invulnerability on so you can see some more of the game rather than seeing me dying. It's not an unfair game, it's just a game I'm not very good at. It is one of those vertical shooters with environmental things to collide into as well, which takes a bit of getting used to. But if we're comparing to, say, Capcom's 1941, that also had environmental things. It seemed to be sort of the way shooters were at this point. There is an invulnerability dip switch. Shall we put that on? So yes, now I can't die. So let's just enjoy the game and pretend I'm good at it. Yeah. Hello tank. Aim at me all you want. Look at my amazing dodging skills. Oh, yeah. I'm collecting bullets. I'm thinking it's Pac-Man now. There we go. No, sometimes cheats are just good if you want to see a bit of the game, and I'm sure you don't want to just see me dying over and over again. So, there's that. Let's get to see a bit of the game. I don't like resorting to cheats, but I think it makes for better streaming sometimes. Yeah, you missed a Puzzle Bobble style game earlier, Evie. I think you would have maybe enjoyed that one. Let's see, I've got the net. Net's not good, you see, because I can't shoot. Apparently that's how... I mean, let's ignore the fact that, you know, the chopper blades will get stuck in the net. Let's just stop you shooting, apparently. I'm an airfish. So you get your different power-ups as well, which you use in order. So I've used that with those attacks. You see, I've got a 4th slot there that's now in the 1st slot, and that is just that type of attack instead. I'm not always keen on games where you have to use the power-ups in the order you collect them, but it's a fairly standard thing, at least in... I mean, and I say, it's not really a standard thing in that many shooters, but I've seen it plenty of times before. Get off me with your silly net. But yeah, I think this is, you know, it's a solid early SNK game before the Neo Geo. I say early, I mean it's only like a year or so before the Neo Geo, but there were worse shooters on the Neo Geo. I mean, I would say that, you know, Ghost Pilots on the Neo is a worse shooter than this. Also, as people have said, the sound and music on this are exceptionally well done. Little radar says danger. you know, now we have pretty much 8 little boss battles. Atari Warriors is difficult but popular, I think, on the grounds of the home ports. I mean, Atari was such a popular game on the home systems. I think that's where most people remember it from, rather than the arcade. Although the arcade with the rotary stick is, you know, not a bad game. Yeah, I think that I don't remember. Does the arcade have the queue system? I know it's one of the things that annoyed me in one of my favourite games, which was Wanny World on the Mega Drive. Your power-up queue was always in order, and some of the power-ups on that were far less useful than other ones. So sometimes you just spam power-ups to get rid of them, so you could use the one you wanted, which is a shame. Let's see, it varies up here. The game varies it up. You've got a different setting. Obviously, being an 8-bit game, an older game, the number of tiles is a bit more limited than more modern shooters. But you've got some good animation. I mean, look at the blades on all the helicopters. Smoothly animated, plenty of frames. Little guys walk around with good animation. Maybe the catapults aren't the best animated and the backgrounds don't really do much. But again, for an 8-bit game, a lot of them don't really have this level of animation. So it stands out visually. You know, I'd group this with something like Prehistoric Isle, even though that's a kind of different horizontal shooter. I think it's got a similar level of polish. Gemini Wing does it too. Yeah, I'd say it's definitely not unique in doing it. And I suppose it saves on a button to cycle through things. Makes it less confusing, not constantly having to try and monitor which power-ups are next and cycle through them. It also means you have to maybe sometimes avoid power-ups if you don't want that type of power-up. Again, this is before the shoot-'em-up genre was really refined by games like Ride and Raven. You can choose which power-up you pick as well, so it's not too bad here. These Spectrum, CPC, C64, Atari ports were all very popular, Bob. I mean, they've got their flaws, but they were games that were highly recommended at the time. It's a bit, you know, it's a bit like there were lots of games like that. LED Stun was the same, although the home ports haven't really held up well at all. But a lot of people do remember that from the home systems. Slight lack of variety in the enemy types. Again, since you've got lots of frames of animation, it's kind of expected, because that's where they've spent the budget, you know, the ROM budget. Got another boss coming up. I've not actually played the NES version of it. Say popular doesn't always mean good. Or there are plenty of examples of very popular ports that are actually really bad. Twin helicopters. So the slowdown's not too bad on this either, considering it's, you know, a Z80 based game. It does have a bit. There's plenty of bullets really for what it's doing. Plenty of sprites moving around. It slows down a little bit. Nice fake zoom effects. I've got no bombs left. Yeah, it must have been popular because there's loads of bootlegs of it. That's kind of how you can tell sometimes, just by the number of bootlegs that turn up. The joystick version of Atari, those bootlegs are even worse because it just makes the game impossible in places because you can't walk backwards and fire forwards. Anyway, so, you know, see a bit of graphic reuse. You've got the same barriers, but now you've got to see. Get the idea. This is Chopper 1 from SNK. Now, I played Chopper 1 because SNK also did this. They released Tank, T.N.K, as T.N.K 3 in the US. So this is again a case of putting a number on the end of a title when there are no other games in that series. Actually, I should be running this one mouse, shouldn't I? Because it's got a dial rotary stick. So yeah, this was called Tang, T.N.K, with the, you know, as if it was an acronym in the Japan. But when it got exported to the US, it was called T.N.K 3. Not entirely sure why. Do I need to enable the position on the dip switches too? I can't remember. We'll see. We'll see. Rambo 3. Yeah, I played Rambo 3 on stream. It seemed more difficult than I was expecting to be. But again, this kind of has a similar formula to the Atari Games. That's a bit overly sensitive. Okay. It might actually be easy with the keyboard, this one. But actually, let me just check the keys. Hold on. This is probably going to be easy to play on keys. Anyway, so this is another one of those rotary stick, move along, shoot things games. But unlike Atari, this one you're in a tank. Atari you can get in a tank. But this one you are mainly in a tank. You know, the game is called Tank, you control the tank. And this is one I did not realise I had an arcade version back in the day. I had this on the Amstrad CPC. And I was quite surprised to see an arcade version in MAME. I think it's one of the first games I actually tried to play in MAME after realising, you know, it was there back in the day, back in, you know, the end of the 90s. But yeah, it's drive along, shoot things, but again, you do really need the analog and the rotary controls for it to play as it should. But it's kind of satisfying to just run over these little guys with your tank when they're not shooting you. But yeah, so, you know, you could almost think that SNK were going for Chopper 1 and T.N.K 3, Tank 3, being a series of some sort, even though it wasn't in Japan. But I don't think there's any SNK game with 2 in the title to sort of complete that trilogy of renamed games. But then again, you know, maybe SNK just didn't like the number 2 because Atari 2 was called Victory Road, not Atari 2. I don't know. It's just one of those things that cross my mind from time to time. Unless there is a game with 2 in the title that I'm overlooking. I don't think there is. SNK The Lost Levels. Maybe T.N.K 2. There's no T.N.K 2 cow. And welcome, cow, by the way. You have missed several cow references in this stream already, unless you've been lurking. Again, this is to me another solid, probably slightly overlooked SNK game from back in the day. It's not perfect by any means, but it's still a pretty decent title. If you've got the right controls, which I don't. I'm blowing up everywhere. Game over. Thank you for playing. I will continue. I wish to at least get to the statue. I've set myself a target I'm not going to attain now, haven't I? Now, some people do say it's easiest to play these games just by not changing the fire direction and avoiding everything, but I think those people are ridiculous. I don't think you can possibly play this game just by firing up. Even though, you know, that's what pretty much what Konami had you do with Jackal, the versions without a rotary stick. I don't think it really works here. It's just too much you have to fire to the side. Too often too often you're moving to the side. It is a polite game, yes. Lots of games are quite polite after you die. Some aren't. Some just insult you. But this one is quite polite. Oh. Well, I turned the gun to the side and I died, so maybe there is some logic in keeping firing straight up. Don't think so. That's just energy, isn't it, the E? So technically I don't need that yet. Let's just run people over. Let's go tank run. I don't care. I'm running from you. There are like secret bonuses and alt paths you can take to try and get more points and power-ups, and maybe I should pay attention to them. I think you're insulting Cave when you die in those. By playing a game that you're just not good enough to play. Okay, you do have to sort of... There's a NES Famicom game that's related to this. I wasn't aware of that one. Does it share a similar style of gameplay then? I'm getting my bottom handed to me. Please write your name. Lots of letters. That's my name. Ristil Fernandez. Puku is at the bottom. They get nice little faces. Maybe they should have gone with steel instead of cardboard or whatever this one's made of, yes. It's not got the best sound. There's no real satisfying explosions in this, which is maybe what lets it down a little bit. It's kind of a bit... Yeah, I should stop trying to just run over the tanks really, shouldn't I? Probably not going to get to the statue doing this. But it's nice that it scrolls in multiple directions. Oh dear. I'm thinking this is maybe a bit difficult, or I'm just terrible at it. So the town is probably safe because I might not get. Then again, the restart points aren't too bad, are they? It does clear the screen, but it doesn't really send you back too far. So maybe we'll get there. Just with lots of credits. I always remember the Amstrad version feeling more strategic, but it wasn't in reality because I've gone back and played it again. It is just a shooter. But then again, I guess I get it mixed up with the Codemasters Super Tank game a little bit too, which kind of followed a similar concept but was almost more strategic. That's a nice little game. Not related to this officially, but it was a little similar. I reached the statue, which I can't see, but lots of different spaces. Interesting. I don't know. Where is the statue? Let's try and find the statue before I quit. It's probably going to be tiny, isn't it? Now, I think based on the last symbol at the top right there, this is another game where you are fighting the evil Germans. Oh dear. I think maybe I'm the statue. I'm now on the nose, but I've still not seen the nose. I don't believe it's a cow statue. Maybe that's the statue. don't really know. I'm not sure maybe it's an old statue that's not there anymore. Apparently this is the statue, but I'm not seeing much of it. I'm just seeing myself blow up quite often. The face of Mars. Well, possibly. I think we've seen enough of Tank 3 anyway. I only really played it because I wanted to sort of make the point that there is a Chopper 1 and a T.N.K 3, but there's a Nothing 2. So there you go. We did have a request right at the start for Violent Storm. I can have a look at Violent Storm. It's not well emulated, but we can have a look at it. I mean, the various signs it's not well emulated. If we go into the test mode and go to the colour test, kind of broken. Yeah, the colours are far too washed out on this. Apparently a real PCB doesn't have quite such washed out colours as MAME, but the bootleg PCBs do. I don't know. There's various issues. Maybe I was fighting aliens. Maybe the Germans were on Mars. But yeah, as I mentioned in a previous stream, even Vendetta's not properly emulated. The collisions aren't emulated correctly. Kay was looking at that. The collisions on this, I don't think are 100% either, because apparently the track demos don't move as they should, and all the movements of the characters and stuff are controlled by the protection. It's one of those we have, I think, Akko back in the day for figuring out, and then whoever translated Akko's pseudo-assembly code into something readable for making acceptable. So that is Kyle. Kyle, who is obviously sponsored by Monster Energy, as I am not, but Kyle is. And yeah, as we speed through the demos, you see the demos, yeah, see the characters, yeah, okay, we'll start again. So we could be Boris, we could be Wade, or we could be Kyle. I'm going to be Boris, you know, our Prime Minister, because he definitely looks like that. Yeah, it's a very, again, it's very 90s, very stylish, kind of Cadillacs and Dinosaurs vibe with some of the cars. Oh look, a building's fallen down in the background just because it can. We just have the sunglasses yet. And we've got the lyrics and the music too. But yeah, it's got a lot of style, this one. Huge sprites, a dog. Don't think you can do anything with a dog. It's not like Gardens of the Hood where anything you can see you can attack and then get hit by. It's got one of those sort of 90s cartoon soundtracks, you know. Could be there with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the like. It is quite upbeat. Quite fast paced too. I think the pace makes it feel even more upbeat. You're not just going around hitting people, you're hitting them with speed. You're almost partying while you hit them. Yeah, it just has a feel good factor, this game, that is true. Yeah, Crime Fighters Vendetta, is that the sequel? I can't remember which one's which. Because this is the third in the series, isn't it? There's Crime Fighters 1, Crime Fighters 2, and then this one. If you count this as the series, but I think most people do. The enemies move quickly as well, they don't give much time to think. But yeah, I can see why people like this one. It would be nice if the emulation was a bit better. But again, these things improve over time. People start to look at them, people start to realise things don't quite match the PCB. The resources we've got these days are far better than back in the day. People have, you know, made observations, made detailed bug reports. And at some point, you know, maybe somebody would start decapping the customs responsible for things like the protection, and we'll have a better understanding of them on a hardware level, as we saw with Contra and the math chip in there. So the 3D stage is working Contra properly now. Although I don't really want to play Contra because I don't like it. But, you know, Konami did a lot of subtle protections. They don't have quite the same reputation for the protection that, say, Atari or Taito do. But there's so many little Konami protections. They're not usually standard MCUs either. They're usually custom programmed chips. So whereas with, say, Taito, there are ways to decap and dump in the actual code from the 68705s. With a lot of the Konami protections, they're not MCUs, so you have to understand the logic. You know, you have to actually study the silicon a bit more, and you can't just run a program on the CPU core once it's decapped. The colours off, the enemy movements are off. People who know the game on the PCB aren't really happy with the emulation quality, and that's fair enough. I think the high score table's a bit broken too. It's playable. I mean, it's kind of early 2000s quality MAME emulation, which is not great by today's standards, but until there's something better you can put up with. It's better than some of the bootlegs of the game as well, which get more things wrong. Which aren't emulated, by the way. Because people apparently want like $300, $400 for a stupid bootleg board of this thing. I don't know why. Yeah, it's more the logic problems that annoy players who are actually familiar with the original game. Say the movement, the AI not being quite correct. In Vendetta, the collision boxes are wrong. You know, you can attack enemies when you're not meant to be able to attack them. They can attack you when you're not meant to attack them. And the Konami Games emulation are unfortunately still full of quite a few problems like that. Because they're not fully understood. Yeah, Konami's Japanese games are generally better. That is true, Neil. I mean, I will always recommend the Japanese versions. I didn't file the Japanese version here because I forgot, basically. Got some pigs. Apparently you can pick up the baby pigs. The oinklets, shall we call them. So, yeah, I'm going to steal that oinklet and it's going to turn into an American football. I'm not quite sure why picking up a pig turns it into an American football, but I'm not going to ask. Yeah, that's kind of the thing that's come to light more recently with a lot of emulation, Hammy. It's things look good on the surface, but then as you look into them in more detail, there are lots of issues with MAME protection simulations from back in the day. Slight timing issues as well. That a game running at slightly the wrong frame rate, like 60 frames a second instead of 59. Can throw off internal logic, and not even just 59, like 59.1, whatever. If a game has certain routines that aren't synced to, the interrupts, or require a certain amount of CPU time, very subtle things, but things people have been noticing. They call football pigskins, but that kind of implies that when I'm picking up the pig, I am also murdering the pig, which I'm not sure I want to be doing. As you know, the stream does try to be friendly to animals, especially cows. Evening GP, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining. And this is Violent Storm by Konami, which I did say is kind of badly emulated, but yeah, I guess most people aren't going to notice. But it's one of those that once it is properly emulated and you've seen the differences, you probably won't want to go back, but we're not there yet, and I don't know when we'll be there. And also, hey Brian, who I believe I missed. Yeah, Vendetta Uncensored. They got away with a bit more in Asia and Japan than they did over here, yes, definitely. Still kind of sexual references in these games. I mean, look at Joe here. Joe who thinks he's Sonic the Hedgehog. No cow, you're not allowed bacon. I think, is 555 the protection or the mixer? I can't remember. I thought 555 was the mixer, but maybe I'm wrong. But I can't. I'm not good on my Konami chip numbers, I have to say. Are the songs the same in the Japanese version? Because this is very rappy, B-rap boys style, isn't it? This one. The dog's back. Yeah, the WC Le Mans hardware is one of those that back in the day everybody said it was going to be impossible to emulate. It's quite a mess, you're right. That uses the same protection chip as Contra, but I don't think it's involved in the graphics. In fact, it doesn't seem to be involved in much at all. But it was observed when hooking up the Contra chip that WC Le Mans does use the same chip. So I think WC Le Mans might just have quite a few actual game bugs. I mean, there's a report on MAME testers about sometimes it not showing the checkpoints, but them still working. And I'm not even sure how that would happen. To me, that kind of feels like a game bug. Like if in certain road situations it can't spawn it, so it just doesn't. I'm not sure, so I've never actually played a real game, at least not extensively enough to know. No, there aren't many games with vocals in the music. B-Rap Boys is coming to mind because it's kind of famous for it. Matra Melee on the Neo Geo doors. There are some. It's not unheard of. A lot more, I think, would have them in the intro rather than the game. But the problem is, you know, songs with vocals tend to take up a lot more storage space. And storage space was money. But at least the barrels do roll. It's not like Danger Express yesterday where you just threw the barrels and just bounced off people count. I roll like a barrel too. Well, yeah, Papa the Rapper, Papa Rap, I can't say that. That obviously does have lyrics because it's a music game. Both on both games, Hamid. Yeah. I'll have to look into it. Pizza, look, it's turned into turtles. I'm Michelangelo. I want my pizza. Give me my pizza. Apparently to have my pizza I have to destroy a table. Not usually how I go about things in restaurants, but yeah. Apparently I'm no longer Boris either. I must have changed at some point. My sunglasses are gone. Danger Express was rather anticlimactic, at least to me. But if Bob likes it, Bob likes it. I think maybe Bob has spent so long playing bad NES bootleg games that he's been fixing up the emulation of. Maybe he's broken. If you do Hadouken's in time to the music GP, then you are incredibly talented. I mean, I hear Final Lap's got lyrics as well if Cal records a video of him singing a Final Lap song he made up. Yeah, well, these Dreamcast and Naomi are basically the same thing, apart from more memory on Naomi and Naomi running from ROM. Which, running from ROM is obviously a bit of an advantage in terms of load times, easy access to content, but yeah. PS2 is not a bad platform though. There are plenty of good PS2 based arcade games. They're just not emulated to anything yet because the PlayStation 2 emulator authors really aren't interested in arcade stuff, which surprises me. I would have thought they would be, but they've literally no interest in even trying to get the arcade stuff working. Bobby's broken. Bob, are you broken? Vendetta, the showgirl leaning out the doorway, is the same lady whose legs you fly under in Parodius. Says Brian Hooper. That doesn't surprise me. Konami like to, you know, reference their games in other games, and Parodius is by Taito a parody, so they're going to have taken characters from other places. Nikki and Bunty were playing a bit of sexy Parodius last night. There's a cat. And a rat. And a hole. Drigger. With his mask. There are various issues with Sexy Parodius, yeah, Bob. All the GX games, really. There's lots of Konami features that aren't properly emulated there. Blending's not quite right. They need work. Konami emulation in MAME in general needs a lot of work. I think some things improved in newer versions of MAME for GX, other things got worse. There's no definitive version to really run them in. I'll continue to evade them. Yeah, I mean, obviously Street Fighter 2's got his cage level as well, with the climbing on the wall gimmick as well in that one. I think cage gimmicks are kind of common. No escape. Anyway, we're not going to play too much more of this, but we can beat Drigger and see what comes next. No death run always ends in the cage, does it, Lo-Fi Kills? Yeah, the music in this is impressive. Okay, you come up from the subway type thing there, a bit like Final Fight where you're walking down into the subway. These games always sort of borrow similar themes and places. Doesn't look much like a park. I guess this isn't the park anymore. Yeah, the Saturn could have handled this one really well. What year did this came out? 93? Yeah, I'm surprised this didn't get a Saturn port. No barrel's going to beat me. Oh, the barrel beat me. Anyway, Violent Fight. I said to play it a little bit. I played it a little bit. I think you know what it's all about. It's a decent Konami beat 'em up. Now, shall we look at two games you should never confuse? Let's play a bit of Landmaker. This is probably quite an overlooked Taito puzzle game. It did get a PlayStation port, I seem to remember. A 24-hour port hack of WC Le Mans 24. That would be an endurance test and a half. Taito F3 emulation is another platform that needs a lot of work. I believe this has some issues. Yeah, it's gloriously over the top is Violent Storm, and that's what makes it good, I think. So yeah, I don't know what all this intro has to do with this game, which is essentially a puzzle game, but it's an original puzzle game called Landmaker from 1998, so quite late for an F3 game actually. How to play? You collect the same colour tiles. They slide off each other. They build buildings. It's a bit like Populous as a puzzle game. If Populous was a puzzle game, yeah. Anyway, you get the idea. You make buildings. Who are we going to be? Nobody's got sunglasses. I'll be this one. Yeah, there is a 24-hour race on Gran Turismo. I remember that. It's like, nope. So, you know, I make a building and then I hit the corner and it vanishes. So again, this is Taito trying to do a more original, innovative puzzle game, and I think it kind of works. I don't have any real complaints about this one. The bigger the houses you make, the more, you know, the stronger the chains they produce. It's a very different mechanic to anything else. Wrong colour. Get that there. Get that there. You see, big attack there. Messed up attack there because I fired the wrong piece. So get rid of that one there. Oh yeah, we can get. Can we get rid of those? I can't remember. Unfortunately, it's been a long time since I played this one. I used to not be too bad at it. Yeah, we can push things up like that. Yeah, there we go. Alright, Brian, take care. I'll see you soon. Probably catch you on one of the Zypho streams. Always good seeing you. Yeah, well, I thought it was one of the original two, but maybe it was the later one. I don't remember back in the day that well for the Gran Turismo games. But yeah, there was definitely one that actually had a genuine 24-hour race. Which is a bit much, I have to say. But, you know, if that's what you want from your racing game, fair enough. I still don't really buy the whole Gran Turismo super realistic racing simulation game when all the computer cars are really on a, you know, rubber banded and practically stuck to the track. I mean, the physics on the game does not exist as soon as anything leaves the track, and it just goes wild. So maybe it's realistic until you fall off. Yeah, Landmaker, one of Taito's lesser known puzzle games, despite getting a PlayStation port. Does it deserve to be lesser known? I don't know. It doesn't have that cutesy factor, unfortunately. You know, it lacks the bubble bobble cutesy factor of something like Puzzle Bobble, which probably hasn't done any favours. There aren't many games that use sort of a hexagonal playfield and actually feel playable, and this is one of them that does. I played this a lot back in the day on Rain. I think before MAME even did F3 emulation. And enjoyed it back then. Was no better at it back then. I say I've lost. Yeah, this is Taito F3. It's 98 though. I mean, this could almost have been on GNet. But yeah, this was a later release on the F3 system. Pardon me. Obviously, you know, the sound is a highlight. Taito's sound systems were always excellent, and there's absolutely no exception to that. So no proper big building chain there because I hadn't formed a proper big building. Go there with that one. That's quite a big building, so that should give me something good. But it's all about the size and quality and squareness of your buildings. Is that a fair way to say? It's a bit like Capcom's Super Puzzle Fighter, in the sense, you know, you build bigger gems, you get bigger attack waves. But Super Puzzle Fighter is obviously incredibly popular, while this is a game nobody really remembers. That's not clever. You can go down there. No, 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 no. I messed up. I messed up. I messed up. I messed up. I think I messed up. Can I recover? Probably not. Yeah, I'm going to guess that a lot of people haven't played this one despite it being a Taito game. I do appreciate, you know, that Taito did try to do different puzzle games. Can't do much with blue. Can't do much great with red. That's not a bad one to get. It's a better building. But you do have to sort of get in the mindset to play this, understand the mechanics, and how you're going to get your bigger chains. How you going, you know, you build your buildings up. Where not to put things is as important as knowing where to put things. Yeah, it's worth trying out, Neil. If you've not played it and you like puzzle games, I would definitely recommend giving this one a try. Not going to play too much more of it, because my point with this was not necessarily this game. So if we can start quickly, that should get rid of everything on the playfield. And there we go, that's not a bad idea to do that. And that's... so we've got some bigger pieces now. That should be a big attack. Yeah, look at that score. That was a good one to get. Like any Taito game, it's got quite deep scoring mechanics if you know them. I messed that myself. I misread the next piece and lost. But yeah, so yeah, Land Maker. So yeah, I didn't get any Parthenons that time, which are the biggest ones. I C ranked. But if you can build the really big ones, they're powerful attacks that give you the most points. Good game. It has a very similar name to a rather different game. So from Land Maker, we are going to Land Breaker. Now this is a 1999 game from Eolith. Eolith were responsible for the King of Fighters games when S.N.K went bankrupt. So King of Fighters 2001, I think it was. Eolith did. But yeah, now there are different sets of this with different types of images. I believe the one I've picked is the one with the most suitable for streaming images. Yeah, there was a set of Land Maker with lots of split ROMs that you dump, which is kind of weird because you would have to patch the ROM for it to boot because the last volume ROM is incorrect and it won't boot otherwise. This is not how you play this game. So this is a bit like Kicks, but you have to you can rotate your ship, and you have to divide it by rotating and positioning yourself and firing a shot across. It's probably one of Eolith's more original concepts. There you go. You see, I've cleared part of the area. Now, all going well, she will not be naked on the next screen. She will just be wearing slightly less. I don't believe it's filthy on all the sets, Mr. Midas. And if it is, I'm probably not going to be playing it for long enough to get to that point. I just wanted to demonstrate the fact that it has a very similar title to Land Maker, but it is quite a different game. It's also one of the Eolith games that actually runs quite well. There are others that just seem to be at completely the wrong speed. I mean, I demoted Raccoon World in MAME to not working because it seems to run far too quickly to be playable. And I've got no original reference to know if it works properly or not. It's a bit of a problem. It's a bit like Funky Ball. Well, Funky Ball actually, an original reference did turn up now, which is kind of handy. But before that, there was no original reference. Splash, yeah, Splash the Gallico one is kind of similar. I mean, it's another Uncover the Ladies one. And obviously there was the sequel to that, which was Glass. But you see, you get the idea. So I'm not going to spend too long on this in case it does get a bit unsuitable for streaming. Now these Eolith boards, there are different PCB revisions. Some of them use an additional MCU rather than a ROM-less MCU. So some of them have, you know, ones with external ROM, some have internal ROM. This set, which says protected, is actually using a hacked version of the unprotected program at the moment because the actual MCU has not been dumped. It's a bit annoying they did that, but for every game there seems to also be one with an unprotected sound CPU, and from what best we can tell, all the protection does is sort of check a fixed value. Yes, they are probably like 60 now. This was about 2,000, so maybe 50. Depends really. But I'm sure you get the idea. It's a different game to Land Maker. It's a different concept. It's actually quite an original concept. I mean, your regular Gaz Panic games don't play like this. So, you know, props to Eolith actually, you know, coming up with an original concept and executing quite well. I mean, you know, Eolith aren't the most loved company. They've got a lot of bad games. But Landraker, not bad. Sound emulation's a bit dodgy, as you can hear. But I'm using a keyboard, Don. I don't really like sticks that much or anything else, so I just use a keyboard. Right, where are we going now? Where are we going now? Shall we have a look at... Ooh, yeah, let's have a look at that one. I think this is vertical. I don't know. I'm just going to check. Yeah, it's vertical. Cidelsa Spanish Games. Cidelsa are a Spanish company who happen to use hardware based on a CDP 1802 and COP 402 in this case. A very unusual processor combination, it has to be said. Now this is a 1981 game. It's a dual joystick game. And they're kind of text mode type games. They're very very computer-like games. Lots of colour cycling. Jezball. I've not played Jezball. A Crazy C or 100% Ham. Maybe I should play Jezball. That is probably the influence if it plays the same. You're missing me. There was no mature there, Bob. I played the set without mature. So, Draco. So, yeah, you destroy the letters around things, and you can destroy these. Again, it has scrolling, but you have to... Oh dear, I died. When you've destroyed the things around the numbers, you can destroy the numbers. And I'm doing really badly because, you know, I'm not meant to be losing lives on the first stage. Especially not by crashing into things. With Windows 3.1. Yeah, Windows 3.1 is a bit before my time. I started with Windows 95 on PCs. Okay, doing quite badly here. But... yeah, these Spanish games were a considerable amount of effort to emulate due to the non-standard hardware. But yeah, it's a dual stick shooter. And yeah, they do look a little bit like computer games. That can't be denied. Once you get into the swing, you can shoot diagonally, you know. Once you get into the swing of things, they're not too bad. But, yeah, they're quite primitive looking. It was 81, apparently. So this apparently did also predate Robotron. The scrolling thing is annoying because you can never see what is on the other screens. So sometimes you just scroll straight into something. Which is, you know, a good sign of bad game design. Let's clear that one and get the 400 points. But yeah, the use of obviously just sort of ASCII characters rather than proper graphics in many places kind of obvious here. I mean, those are just rotated zeros. And why it's called Draco, I don't know. Seems quite a random game. But I don't think these got official computer ports back in the day. Somebody did port one of the Cidelsa games, I think Destroyer, to the Amstrad, or was it Altair to the Amstrad CPC recently, which was one of the shoot 'em up type games, which is kind of funny. But I guess because these games had a bit of a following in Spain, people in Spain knew them, so I guess when they were emulated, people also remembered them and wanted to port them to things. But yeah, so one of the Cidelsa games did get a recent Amstrad CPC port. I don't know if this one Zypher is played on stream or not. Robo Ron. Well, your dad probably needed correcting. GP. So this level's a bit different. This time you're just going around shooting the numbers in more of a maze-like structure. And obviously still got these nasty things to deal with. But it is one of those multi-stage ones. Again, the walls are deadly. So it feels a bit more like Berserk in terms of you're avoiding the walls now. Not just shooting them all. I think we can go... Oh. What's a Zypho? So some small Twitch streamer. Oh yeah, you have to restart the stage again if you fail, don't you? Because of course you do. But this one, unlike the others, does have this extra copper as a sound CPU. I think that Nightmare game also does, but the sound CPU ROM isn't dumped on it, unfortunately. So the speech on that was meant to have speech as well that's missing because of the missing sound CPU ROM. Yeah, some of these Spanish games did use kind of unusual hardware, and this is one of them. So you shoot the 400 and it clears the level. Then you get this maze, where you've also got all these dots that you can collect. So I think you have to collect them. I think this turns into a Pac-Man type thing, where you've got to collect all the dots. Again, without dying. Or you can shoot them, but, you know, collecting them gives you more points, I believe. Shooting them just gets rid of them. But, you know, technically, there's not much wrong with this. It's just a bit primitive and kind of difficult at the time. You can stream simultaneously, but I think it's actually against the Twitch terms and conditions, because Twitch have got some exclusive clause in, you know, their terms and conditions, which say you can't even stream on another platform or upload your content to another platform within a certain time period. So while there's software to allow that, and Twitch even allow you to upload videos to YouTube, that feature seems to be against their own terms and conditions. I really don't know. It's a mess. I mean, Twitch is getting a pretty bad rep for some other stuff at the moment. Hacked accounts, hacked bots that are spamming people's channels with hate, and even posting people's passwords apparently. So there appears to be some kind of security issue at Twitch, maybe. I'm not sure. Or people are being tricked into giving their passwords out. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really stream on Twitch. I do have an account. I did even get, you know, the affiliate status, but I've not really used it since, because practically everybody who wants to watch my streams is on here instead. And whenever I've done Twitch streams, it's been like, oh, you've got 5 people watching. And that's just not fun. I mean, it's good to talk to everybody. I know I miss a lot of messages anyway. I do apologise for that. But, you know, it's much better to have people to talk to, and the messages I do see I manage to read out, and the information provided. I mean, you know, the chat does help me with inform me of a lot of things I'm unaware of. Secrets in games, connections between company. Yeah, I mean, I think you can watch without an account, but you can't join in. And, you know, half the fun is participating. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to clear this level. I think after this level you get one with the letters boxed in. So I did want to clear it, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Especially not if I play like this. Especially not if I play like this. But you get the idea. Maybe we can just let the enemies do the work for me. and just shoot them. Although there's probably some reason it doesn't. It's just too easy to run into the walls. But this is kind of one of those games that on the surface I should have just pressed escape and quit, but there's that, you know, one more credit, one more try factor to it, which I've always found with this one. Which is why I won't actually say it's a bad game, even though it's incredibly primitive. Great game design. It's almost a Namco classic, isn't it? Just like Final Lap. So I've cleared that screen. Now can I clear this screen? To be fair, there were worse Spanish games, worse French games. I mean, Botanic. Oh, that was my own fault. Botanic, where you can run into enemies you can't see because they've just spawned on the screen. And I like the fact it's got, you know, multiple screens, although the scrolling is kind of almost, you know. Okay, that's enough Draco. Yeah, the blind scrolling is maybe the deal breaker. It's nice that the screens are wider, but they could have done that a bit better. And yeah, it just gets annoying. Really annoying. Like, super annoying. Apparently this one's immature.ini. Puzzle Star by Sangho Soft. This is on cloned MSX2, or is it 2 Plus or 2 hardware, and runs in the high colour mode. This is different to IGS's Puzzle Star. It is Puzzle Star, programmed by SH Soft or Sangho Soft. Now, the other versions of this, Sexy Boom and the like, are adult games, but I think this one isn't. But select your level. I'm going to go with Batman. Yeah, He-Man and Batman. Oh look, I made Batman. They stole everything, Bob. Now I have Raccoon with 6 pieces. I hate slide puzzles. Why did I put this on? I literally can't play slide puzzles. And yet the music's even stolen. How do I get these in the right places without just pure luck and just hammering the buttons infinitely? Oh, thank you, Neil, for the £5 donation through the super chat there. Thank you. It's always appreciated. You know, I'm glad to hear you enjoy watching streams. You say always learn new stuff watching your streams. Nice one. And that's what I go for with these streams. I do like to introduce people to games they may not have seen before, good or bad, just or hilariously ripped off content, as we have here. Yeah, I can't do slide puzzles. Can you tell? Even with just this many pieces, it's like my head breaks. It's not stolen. Oh, there we go. I doubt that crossed their mind when they were stealing all this other content. And thank you, Minwar1959 for subscribing too. God, here's the cutscene. So yes, Oh Susanna as the soundtrack. Oh look, I failed the six-piece slide puzzle because I love slide puzzles. Yeah, oh no, slide puzzles. Now there are clones of this like Sexy Boom and other ones with obviously adult pictures instead. There we go. Let's but yeah. Oh, there we go. You see, Mr. Lion has been solved. Yeah, I'm not going to spend long playing this game. It's terrible. But I thought it was an interesting example of, you know, a home system being adapted to play a terrible arcade game. So there we go. That was Puzzle Star. Not a good game. Shall we go with another game, which is in mature.ini? This is Mosaic by F2 System. Now I say this is immature.ini, but you see, if I can set up application value, I can change it to landscape and English. So now there should not be plus women. However, I do believe there's a bug with this game, at least the dumped version. I've changed that to English. Did it not save? Is this not going to save on me today? Okay, I think I know that Ryan's looking at a different game in this driver, and I think he may have broken it. I don't know, because this did used to save. Obviously, right now it is not saving. Okay, hold on a second. Can everybody see me? Can anybody see me? It's reporting that we dropped connection there. Hello? And of course that version no longer works. Hold on. Sorry, technical issues here. Right. This is not going to display the game name correctly now, but it may actually work. So, English, landscape, save, exit, reset. Now is it set? Yeah, now it's set. So yeah, this is actually slightly broken with the changes from Ryan for the other game. Never mind. This is Mosaic by F2 Systems. So this is a rearrange the pieces of the puzzle game to make the picture properly. And it's a kind of original concept for what it is. Because the pieces scale depending on where you put them, which is a bit different. It's not what you expect. Go there. I've put these in the wrong place, haven't I? Is that meant to go there? And that meant to go there. 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 Or there. This meant to go down here. And that's meant to go there. Or there. There we go. Stage clear. I have made the Halloween kitty. Now I have to make the majestic looking part. So yeah, this is kind of original. Isn't that base, is it? Now you can sort of get an idea where pieces go based on the scaling, if you're not stupid like I'm being. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on with the music. That looks good. The claws are down there. Oh dear, time over. I will continue. Yes, I will continue. Now it's sort of hinting at me for doing this and doing this, so it's telling me how to solve the level, which is there we go. We have made the pretty birds. Now we have some shoes and a hockey stick. So that goes there. That goes there, yeah. goes there. Where's that go? That doesn't go there. And that does go there. That's in the correct place. It goes... No, that doesn't go there. That goes... Where does that go down? It does go there. That bit goes down there. Yeah, that's correct. Ha! Beat the timer. Picture puzzles are my arse nemesis. Now I get a rock, paper, scissors thing. Oh, I didn't do anything. Use. Win. Beating babies is my thing. Can't stand babies. Now we get a landscape. But yeah, apparently this does crash in landscape mode, which may be because there's a corruption in the ROM. It may because it was never tested. I don't really know. I just know there's a MAME tester's report saying it crashes in this mode sometimes. Unless I think it's in this mode, unless it's in the Go mode. But there are emulation issues apparently. I don't like picture puzzle games. I can't remember the picture. Help, yes, please tell me. Yeah, that's how it's meant to look. So there's a road down the bottom corner. So this one goes to here. Those two swap around. These two swap around. These two swap around. I knew that. I knew that. Now the sound's gone a bit horrible. But, just too much. Anyway, I think we've seen enough of picture puzzle games, to be quite honest. Just thought I'd put that one on. You know, because why not? Yeah, that was a Mosaic by F2 System, Lo-Fi Kills. I had to use a different version of MAME because in the build I was running, it's kind of broken. Because I put this on briefly. Ryan has been fixing up Royal Poker 2 so it boots. Still not considered working, but now it passes the secret test. And yeah, this one boots. I'm not going to play too much of this one either because it probably is going to be an adult game because it's a poker game. But this one, there is now code so that this boots. So there we go. Royal Poker 2. Now this is quite well presented for a poker game. You see, she's not wearing much already. And oh yeah, you have to run with no recompile on this one still. Or it crashes like that. Never mind. I should have remembered that. Pepper 2 didn't work on the latest version of MAME. That's curious. But yeah, you see there's nice scaling effects on the cards. You can hold the cards, you can win pairs, you can do nothing if you win a pair, apparently. 4 flush, high one, I don't know. Or double up. Now she's wearing less clothes. You get the idea. It's a nicely animated, well presented poker game where I'm probably not, it's not wise for me to play any more of it. Let's go low. I lose. Yeah, you get the idea. There's no sound hooked up at the moment either. Anyway, oh, you're off now, GP. Good night. Thank you for joining. It's always good to see you. So Neutrino Fire says Pepper 2 doesn't work. Pepper 2. Pepper 2 version 8. Please stand by. I mean, I don't know how to play Pepper 2. I'm just it's just one of those circle thing games. Okay. What's not working about this Neutrino Fire? Oh, I think maybe there was a bad dump of some sound ROMs added that was then removed. But the game does seem to work. But yeah, that was there was definitely a lack. I think some bad sound ROMs were added that caused a few issues. But in the latest version, it definitely works. So it's basically an Amidar clone with multiple screens. Not a bad little game, actually. Well, I'm using the latest version, latest code here, and it does seem to be running. So maybe it was a problem that's been fixed since. Anyway, it gives me something to play. It's not on my list of games to play, and I don't think it's a game I've ever really spent much time playing. Do I have any buttons, or is it just joystick? I have a button. I don't know what the button does. I see it seems to be more of an avoid 'em up than anything, but I can use the button to my advantage. Quite well presented too. I do think a lot of these early Exidy games get overlooked, actually. This being one of them. Ooh. They're kind of ugly, so maybe people just write them off for that reason. Oh dear. I'm not getting very far. Now, I might be missing something of the gameplay here too. I don't know. Why is it called Pepper 2? Pepper 2 makes me think of like Burger Time. This is the gameplay. There's no button to do anything. I can't obviously do anything with the button, but maybe I'm missing something. So I do have a safety pin, but if the button's meant to use it, the button doesn't seem to use it. It's not a game I'm familiar with, so if there are any issues, I don't see them. It would make sense if the button did something. It is not Peppa Pig. There is no bacon. Slightly different to Amidar in that you can erase your trails as well by going back over them, which is a curious mechanic. Gaiapolis. I can have a look at it. I have played it. I don't know if I played it on stream actually. So it does say button 1, but I couldn't work out what button 1 does. Is it test mode? No, I don't know. Not a game I'm too familiar with, but it does seem to run. Yeah, a bit of an O mummy type thing. Yes, Neil, that would be. That's a pretty accurate comparison. Gaiapolis. I can have a look at Gaiapolis. Yeah. Is there a Japanese version? There is, although it's an RPG-like thing. Do I want to play a Japanese version? Why not? Let's play it where I can't understand a thing. Oh Mummy, yeah, was kind of an Amidar clone. You circled... you were in a tomb and you circled boxes, and sometimes you get treasure, sometimes extra mummies had come out. There was a Mega Drive remake of it some years back, which is actually really good. But I had it on the Spectrum, I think. So yeah, Gaiapolis is one of those sort of hybrid beat 'em ups with RPG elements that does a fair bit of rotation from memory. And yeah, there's no Pepper 1. Maybe Pepper 2 is part of the Chopper 1 T.N.K 3 trilogy. That's kind of unlikely though. Fancy Konami effects to spell the title. You know, dramatic, RPG, staring at the world from a vantage point look. You know, you got a bit of zooming. Gaiapolis. For the Japanese subtitle. And an optimistic credit counter that has 3 digits. If you fancy like pushing 100 quid in it. New game or password, because you get passwords so you can get your old characters back and stuff. Which one do I want? Of course I want this one. Not the only time Konami have done an Into the Clouds effect too. Maybe we'll look at one of those next. Yeah, I don't think this uses the same chips as Violent Storm, and I think this one may just actually be quite washed out in general. Some games are. I've not seen any original references of this that make it look like there's an emulation bug like we've seen with Violent Storm. So in this case, it might just be art style. We've got 2 buttons, haven't we? We've got 3 ones. I don't know. The third one's probably some magic I don't have because there's no jump. Yeah, this is. That's why I put the Japanese version on. I was kind of hoping that maybe the Japanese version would be slightly more forgiving than other versions, but who knows. But I think it is one that's just meant to be difficult, so you put more money and you get your password. And yeah, probably not the best game design in that sense. It's designed to eat your money. So you can do a flying kick that way. Arrows, I guess you avoid, yeah. Treasure. Get down and stay down. That water reminds me a lot of Namco's Metal Hawk. Yeah, a bit similar to Downtown, but with more RPG elements. That's an odd glitch to have, Hammy. Not sure why that happened, is it? Unless it happens on all boards and it just doesn't happen in MAME. Sometimes like that, sometimes you find that. Gyrodine is one. All the PCBs have a glitch with flip sprites, which happens all the time, which is really annoying. MAME doesn't emulate the glitch because it looked like a bug. But maybe we should. Oh, well, there appears to be a slight emulation bug there. Either that or the Japanese version's meant to have different ROMs. Is that friendly? I don't know. I guess that's a helper. It's not attacking me. Armadillo Racing. Board glitch. Ah. Very odd, very odd. Maybe just bad RAM somewhere? But that's the only place it happens. That's very odd. I find the HUD gets in the way here. I keep trying to pick up objects that are actually part of the HUD. Hurry up. Yeah, go that way. Let's get the big chicken. So not rotation effects on this one, zooming effects. I was getting confused. But it's just a bit button mashing. Again, it kind of reminds me of, you know, Gauntlet Legends that I looked at yesterday. It's a game trying to do that kind of concept, but without the excess number of enemies, so it just kind of feels like a fantasy beat-em-up that doesn't quite capture that same feeling as the original Gauntlet. You know, you've got your levels, your character, you've got your RPGs, you've got a password system rather than on save. Yeah, it's maybe not Konami's best game. Visually it's impressive, it's the intro, but it's kind of just not much fun. It's better than, say, UPL's Van Dyke, which goes for a sort of fantasy RPG setting without any RPG elements. Also without any continues, as I found last time I streamed that one. But, overall, this one's never appealed to me that much. So I can't really fault the visuals. Maybe with a second player it'd be more fun, but I think it's only 2 players, but it's not like even a 4-player game. So it's just a mashy sort of top-down perspective, beat 'em up with enemies that swarm you and attack you from all sides. No wasting my magic attacking. Yeah, maybe if you play it properly there's more fun factor. Maybe button mashing isn't doing it any justice. Attack little dragon thing, attack little dragon thing. Got far too many health bars. Devilwood on the NES. I've never played the NES version, Bob. Yeah, now I'm just button mashing. There we go. You blew up. Yeah, beat the boss. I did. I'm not even naming the boss, it's just telling me I beat the boss. Enter a code for a level 2 fairy. I don't think I need to this time, Neutrino Fire. Yeah, I don't know whether there are black spots in the map. How many tile map views? Is that the map view? I don't know. Look, again, we're just mashing through waves of enemies. This time we're avoiding different attacks. They get a bit more powerful. In fact, yeah, maybe I will enter that. Oh yeah, Devilwood on the NES, of course, yes. I do know that one. Every time I read the title, I forget what it is, but I do know Devilwood on the NES, yes. Sorry, Bob. I know exactly which game you mean. I just think the title Devilwood. I don't think I'm entering the password in this set. Let's put the European set on. Okay, the password screen is entirely different here. Is that password even long enough? J-E-I... no, J-A. Is this the where I'm meant to be entering the password? J-E-I-J-A-I... I don't like using I's in passwords. So there you go, level 22 fairy. Oh, and I start at the last battle. Okay, so yeah, straight to the last battle. Well, there you go, that's how the save system works in this. Ah, you were purposely trying to confuse me, Bob. Yes, that was a nasty trick. But as you can see, the game just have that save feature with the passwords. It's not even stored on the hard drive. There's no hard drive or anything like a Gauntlet Legends though, so if somebody knows the password like the one I was just given, you can always just enter it and continue from there. It's not like on Gauntlet Legends where if you know somebody's initials and code, you can just play as their character. It doesn't even try to hide it when you enter it either, so... On Gauntlet Legends, I guess you can just steal people's characters by watching them play. I'm not sure. Oh look. It's a bit loud again. Sorry about that, I forgot I turned this one down before. Let's mash my way through the final boss. Oh look. I mean, at least do plenty of damage, look. I'm assuming it's the final boss. It said last battle. Unless it's, you know, pre-boss, which is kind of probably the case. Oh look, fancy Konami effects. And, of course, it wasn't the final boss, was it? Probably 3 forms. Would not surprise me. No, I didn't say final at all. Never heard of the word. 60! This thing has 60 health thing. It's not even... Yeah, no. I can't bother with that. I did say Konami had done other cloud effects. And this is one I was originally going to cover on the original theme for August, which was same game, different alternate name, or another name. And this is Ajax, aka Typhoon. Yeah, Devilwood on the NES is actually a really good game. It's one I've played a bit of, I just always forget the title. Here we go, more Konami rotation. This one's from 87. This is another game that people seem to remember on the Spectrum as Typhoon. I was surprised when there was an arcade version called Typhoon turned up. But it is a shooter. And this set starts with a vertically scrolling level. Oh, it's a bit devious with your attack and bomb. Main attack and bomb. Yeah, Devilwood didn't get a US release, Neil. This is a shame because it's a solid game, but you can kind of understand why. Just like Konami's Noah's Ark didn't get a US release. Anything religious didn't get a US release. I quite like Konami's Noah's Ark actually. It's a bit unfair, but it's an 8-bit platformer. Don't mind it. This is Chopper 2, is it? It does have some similarities actually. Including checkpoints. can drop 3 bombs at once. Yeah, some unofficial releases. I don't think the bomb is, I think we shoot them, yeah. A lot of people don't seem to like this one. It's another one of those that I see quite frequently appear in lists of Konami games people don't think much of. I've not ever really played it enough to make my own judgment on that. I've definitely played worse Konami games, but maybe there's just something about this that doesn't click with people, or something that just ruins it. Who cares about Europe? I don't think without Europe we would even have MAME. And therefore we would not have this channel. Therefore we would not have this identity of me. We wouldn't have Rain either. But what emulator would we have these days without MAME that doesn't come from Europe? Yeah, Typhoon in Europe, that's what I want to get at. So yeah, that version starts with that level, with the regular level. I believe the version called Typhoon, which is the title it got in the Europe 8-bit computers as well, is a bit different. So here we go, the rotating Typhoon title. With a Typhoon subtitle, because of course you need to have a subtitle for your title. Now, if I'm not wrong, yeah, this one starts with the Into the Cloud level. So this is, it's quite odd that you're flying straight down, but you know, we'll accept that. Maybe these levels are why people don't like the game. It's a bit space harry, you know, into the screen perspective. Yeah, it's one of those Konami games that's kind of odd in that the different versions have different level order. So, you know, stage 1 on the Ajax version is the one of the regular stages. Stage 1 on this version is one of these dive down into the ship levels. And bomb the ship levels. Visually more impressive. I mean, this is showing off all the rotation, which you don't really see shown off in the other version. There we go. Boom. Night Striker's a good game, Cow. I mean, Space Harry is obviously more famous. And now you see, now we go into this level. Now we go into, I think, is this the same as the level 1 on the previous set? Is it a slightly different level 1? I don't know, I can't remember. Night Striker is the very futuristic, darkly coloured Taito fly ship through multiple tunnels. A bit Galaxy Force 2-ish as well. Had a Saturn port. Falcion, also from Konami for the Famicom Disk System. Yeah, maybe they reuse some ideas. But yeah, I'm always curious as to, you know, the reasoning behind changing the level order up in some games. And so, you know, to me it's more natural to start with the 3D level here because it shows off more about the game. Whereas the other set just looks like a very normal looking 2D shooter. But maybe that wasn't the original intended level order. I'm not really sure. Also, I noticed this version seems hard. Like, much harder. Like, like I'm getting killed by things in the clouds I can't even see. That's not good design. Unless it's an emulation issue, but who knows? I think it's just the clouds are evil. Avoid the clouds. Clouds weren't so evil on the first level. Evil pollution. I don't know why the clouds are attacking me. Maybe for flying through their relatives on the first stage and probably destroying, you know. Flying your aircraft through a cloud is probably a death sentence for the cloud. Yeah, it's a different level, is it, Guru? Yeah, that kind of makes sense. So maybe this has just skipped the first level or something and just gone straight to the harder levels. I don't know. But it's interesting to see the differences in the sets. But I'm not going to get very far in it. I know that much. So yeah, that's probably all we need to see of Ajax, aka Typhoon. But I wanted to show off the differences because the original theme for the month was going to be that, and I never really got around to it, unfortunately. Let's have a look at this one. This is a prototype that was, I think, compiled from source by people connected to model racing. And this is Cane, because it's an Italian game, I think, and it, I believe, means, is it dog? And it's a model racing game, and it's a light gun game from 1979, I think it was meant to be released. Don't think there's any sound. Oh yeah, and I need to change it to horizontal, of course. Of course we do. Yeah, Twin Cobra was probably just more popular. But anyway, here we go with... why is my button not working? Okay. Well, it's not mouse. It's not even analog, is it? Sorry, I'm getting confused here. So, sorry, this isn't. I thought it was a mouse because it's a shooting game, but it's not. So you've got to shoot the birds with one target, and yeah. So there we go. Got one. Turned into a roast chicken. Shot the coyote. Yeah, this is a rare game. It probably didn't get released. But the developers did find the code and, you know, recompiled it. Along with another game, but it seems a lot more buggy and maybe is unfinished. But and it seems to have broken. Or frozen, I don't know. It's a bit of a mess. Roadkill game. I don't know what you're talking about, Ham. But, yeah, the most notable thing about this is don't shoot the dog, because that happens. You get pretty much a jump scare if you shoot the dog. And then it says the end. Obviously, there are a few issues with this being an unreleased game from '79. I can't think of any other games from '79 that went for a full jump scare for shooting the one position on the screen. Apparently that's good. Again, it's frozen. It does seem to glitch out, you see, because now I can't control it again. So it could be there were bugs in the listing that was input. So it's difficult to call these working games. They were incomplete, but I still kind of get the impression that there have been either errors in them being, you know, recompiled or entered, or they just never really work properly because, you know, it's kind of frozen up on me. And I think that's the code, not the emulation, because the hardware is very simple. But I just kind of wanted to show the dog jump scare, but I can speed this up, and it goes nowhere now. It's dead. I've not checked that. But yeah, this game just sort of breaks itself. So maybe the actual original code for this, if it is available, needs looking at to see if there were any errors in transcribing it. Because I'm not sure these are bugs that would have been in it. So the counters go wrong as well at the top, you see there. Oops. So I've not failed that many. And there you go, it's frozen again. Never mind. But that was, yeah, say, can I... Oh, and it's not for its game over. I don't know. It doesn't work 100%, but I think, you know, that would need the ROM looking at rather than the emulation. As, you know, a personal gut feeling about that one. Let's have a look at an old game. I think it's Vertical. Let's have a look at Taito's Frog and Spiders. Possible bootleg. The PCB looked like a bootleg. Not an original Taito. The code could be original. Not a common game. Even in Japan it seems uncommon, so don't really know what the story is behind this one, but it's credited to Taito in '81. Cane is Italian for the dog, I think, so kind of makes sense. So let's play Frog and Spiders. It's a Galaxian style game, obviously, where you are shooting spiders and avoiding other things. Or you can leap. Yeah, don't do that then. You can't. It's not like Cat and Dog. You can't scroll off the side. So that's one thing that catches me out with this one, because I always think maybe you can wrap around the side. Because it looks like you can, because the trees don't cover the bottom, but you can't. Cat and Mouse. Did I say Cat and Dog? Cat and Mouse. Obviously not the most famous game with a frog, but still a game with a frog and some swinging spiders. Probably not the most famous game with some spiders either, to be honest. I think that would have to go to Spiders, the Sigma game. If you shoot the spider seems to shoot back. Frog meets Galaxian. Kind of, Alpha, kind of. Oh, I lost points for shooting that. I don't know if you can kill the spider in the middle. You can kill the spawn points there. Again, not played much of this one. But it is a rather obscure Taito game, that has to be said. It's got sort of your Galaxian Gallagher style formations attacking you. They even kind of look like the bees in from, you know, Galaxian Gallagher. Don't shoot the dragonfly. Yeah, Black Widow is pretty cool. Black Widow was actually on my potential shortlist for the stream. Might be one I get to time for. Might not be. We'll see. I do like some of these early shooters that were a bit different. I really like Spiders, the Sigma game. That's a really good one. But this isn't too bad. Better than Jolly Jogger that runs on the same hardware. Quite busy at times. So go away, spiders. There we go. Spiders took one. Hey Andrea, welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well. You've joined for about the last half an hour, but it's always good. I don't think you can do anything about the snake other than jump over, or fail to jump over if you don't press the jump button. So yeah, there's the dragonfly that you don't shoot because it costs you points. which kind of makes sense. I don't know how you stop the spiders spawning. I don't know if you do have to kill the spider in the middle. I'm not sure how you do that. Or if it just stopped, yeah, I think, okay, it's probably just a certain number of spiders that will spawn. And now we have some lily pads, and we have to jump between them, otherwise, you know, you can't fall in the water as far as I know, but you can't move off a lily pad without jumping, which adds a bit of challenge because you have to avoid jumping into the bullets. Let's play another crate at this one. Possibly, that might make more sense, Aussie guy. It might be why it's not traditionally one of the known Taito games if it was developed by a third party. Might also explain it being on a very bootleg-like board if it was maybe not even released and all we got was a bootleg or, you know, prototype board. I think the board was found somewhere like Pakistan or somewhere really unexpected. A very industrial-looking board. I know it was one of the more unusual finds. It was somewhere like that anyway. I'm not sure it was Pakistan, but that for some reason comes to mind. What about Jolly Jogger? Is that considered to be a proper Taito game? Because that's the same type of hardware. There are people in various countries who will, you know, sometimes find PCBs and send them out. I could be entirely wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was found, or at least sourced originally, somewhere unusual. But unless I'm thinking of a different game entirely, but I think it was this one. It's you do find boards in the strangest of places. I think was the Operation Wolf prototype found somewhere like Switzerland, or was it Austria, a European country where you wouldn't expect it to be. And that Operation Wolf prototype, had it been found back in the day, would have made the bootleggers' lives a lot easier because it's not getting protection on it, and it's a near complete version of the game. But obviously those things didn't surface back then. Hey Christian, hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining. North Korean arcade games. I think there's a website about the games they had in North Korea. So, yeah, that's Frog and Spiders. There's not much more to show. It does mix things up a little bit and change a little bit over time. But, yeah, that's the game. And it's quite a fun little one if you want to play it. But I think I've shown all there is to show with that. So we can move on and play. Shall we stick with a vertical game? Actually, no. I'm going to take a little break from playing games to just demonstrate some recent progress. So Windy Fairy, who's done a lot of work on the Konami music games, also took a look at the Konami Viper hardware, which runs a good number of titles, and added sound emulation to it. And while these aren't playable yet, they do kind of now run track modes with sound, a bit slow at times, but here we go. So let's fire up Police 911. Now this isn't playable, and it's probably going to be quite difficult to map the controls, and it does have a variety of graphic glitches. Yeah, press sensor button, the sensor failed, press test button, whatever. There's Turbo from Sega in North Korea, did they also go? So we can just go game mode, I believe. So yeah, it will drop some frames. Now this uses a Voodoo 3, and the graphics are a little bit broken. Now some of the Midway games also use a Voodoo 3, so I don't know if it's a Konami specific thing causing the graphics to be broken on this, or if it's just incomplete Voodoo 3 emulation, but you can see that a lot of the textures are quite broken. Windy Fairy worked on this recently rather than Vil, Nick. I don't think Vil has done any work on the Voodoo 3, although maybe Vil or Aaron would be tempted to look at the Voodoo 3, I don't know. But as you can see, it kind of runs the attract mode with the intro. You've got the sound now. Windy Fairy added the sound, but you can see the game detects your movements using a body sensor. Now, I don't know how you're going to emulate the body sensor in MAME. But yeah, and also apparently you can actually get shot if you're playing this game based on that demonstration. But I think that's the entire track mode. I think it just repeats that. It doesn't show any actual gameplay, unfortunately. And so it does drop frames, so there's a bit of sound skip. Yeah, I've never seen this one in an arcade. I probably would have enjoyed trying to give it a play. There's a sequel too, which again I've never seen. But it's nice to see these doing a bit more anyway. I think Thrill Drive did improve, although I've not tried it recently, Cow. I'm not sure I've got everything I need set up for that. But yeah, you see, there's an improvement to that one. And there's an improvement to another one too. So, this is Jurrasic Park 3. Now, is this set up to have sound in track mode? Otherwise, I'm going to have to go into the test mode if it's not. I can't remember if I set it up. Please set the time. All factory settings. Yes. Oops, wrong thing. All factory settings. Yes, yes. Saving. PC. The PS2 version works with an old PC webcam. Interesting. I didn't know there was a PS2 version. But yeah, this is improved too. Classic Konami sound. And obviously, it's a Jurrasic Park game. It is going to drop a few frames again like the previous one. But, see, you've got the sound now. Yeah, unfortunately, any machine with custom inputs is open to abuse. So this is running at about... Well, at the moment it's 50%. Without streaming, it's about 80%. So it's a bit jittery, but yeah, it boots. I think one day MAME might have to do webcams or something like the Kinect. There's a lot of games that are going to be very difficult to emulate and map controls to. I mean, look at all these plug and plays I've been looking at. Some of them have ridiculously complex controls with their own cameras. But yeah, Jurrasic Park 3 does boot and does run the attract modes. So, kind of impressive just to look at. You versus the dinosaurs. Use escape button to avoid injury. Not the escape key, because you know that will have a different effect. You see, this one seems to have less graphical glitches in the intro, but then you get to this part where, again, you've probably got flaws in the Voodoo emulation. It almost looks like an unsupported texture format, but it could just be the texture addressing's wrong. Or it could be an emulation issue Konami side if there's some protection or something, but I don't think there is. But you get the idea. See, this scene looks generally okay. The dinosaur shadows are broken, so the highlight effect's broken. But overall, you can see it is actually running the game. Inaccurate Spinosaurus tail. If you're not happy with the dinosaur accuracy, I don't fish Justin. Also, welcome to the stream. I don't believe you said anything earlier. If you did, I missed it. And I hope you're doing well too. I think the camera might be pointing the wrong way now because I can't see anything. Well, yeah, you see, this does run the attract demo. The dinosaur no-clipped. I wasn't paying attention. A Sonic Blastman. Yeah, that's got a camera. And obviously Olympia's Portraits has a camera. I think there's a Namco game with a camera too. I can't remember what it's called. A few games just start to use cameras to take photos of your face. All the reconstructions guessed wrong. That does happen with dinosaurs, doesn't it? You can even coin this one up. But you can't do much else because there's coins and there's gun triggers, but there's no actual gun maps. So best you can do is coin it up, and then apparently it freezes, because that unfortunately does happen with quite a few of these. They just freeze, so I don't know why, but yeah, that's Jurrasic Park 3. But yeah, those are showing potential now. If the freezes were fixed, the GTI Club 2 freezes as well at the start screen, but if you credit up quickly you can get past that. Again, graphic glitches. But yeah, nice improvements, sound emulation, good work from Windy Fairy. And I'm kind of hoping, maybe that gets picked up by Aaron or Vil, or even Windy Fairy does a bit more work and pushes it forward. But yeah, impressive. I'll have a look at a Konami Redemption game that was added recently, which again still needs work. This is Run Puppy, which runs on an SH3 of all things. I think it's the same hardware as DDR Kids. The Game Boy camera, yeah, that's a fantastic quality camera. So this is just a redemption game, but it's got cute puppies, so Race On has the camera. It probably doesn't do anything yet, can. But yeah, you coin it up, you put more coins in to win a bigger prize, and throw a bone. There's clipping issues, and I think they're meant to scale when you throw the bone, and instead they clip. So the video emulation on this needs work. But that's it. You throw the bone, you get some tickets. Back to the title screen. Throw bone, get a puppy. Oh, look, I've got 2 of those. I've got 3 of those. Probably get a prize. Get 7 points. But yeah, apparently it wants to give me money or tickets. But yeah, there's nothing to this. Like all these Konami Redemption games, there's basically nothing at all to them. They're just nicely presented, quick novelties. Nothing. It's gambling. It's gambling, plain and simple, isn't it? Put your money in, get something, don't get something. And that's it. Within 5 seconds, your credit's over. I probably shouldn't fire up Race On then, should I, Cal? Yeah, the Twin Beast Bell sound there. Yeah, I think Konami did like that one. It was used in various places, including Parodius, wasn't it? Let's have a look at a fairly uncommon thing, which kind of amuses me. So, what's the other set? Hold on. Hold on. Let me just do my research. Okay, I need to have a look at the driver file to work out what I'm running here. Because I can't remember the set name. That's the one. That's the one. That's the one. That's the one. So, a Sega game that we now have a French version and a German version of, but we do not have any other regions, and we only have it in 2-in-1 collections. This is Invinco / Car Hunt, Germany. Now we also have a Car Hunt / Deep Scan set for France. And this set's a 2-in-1 on Victual hardware. And we can select the game and we can play Car Hunt. There's no sound, unfortunately. So, but yeah, I've played this on stream before, but it is a collect all the dots in the maze, head-on like game, but you can change direction, so it's not quite head-on. It's more sort of you slot car, toy car type thing. I had toys like this as a kid, but obviously without the dots to collect. It's not Sega's best work, but you can kind of tell it in some ways must be related to head-on. Redemption Soccer. Yeah, there's lots of redemption games that are over in 5 seconds. Some of them cost lots of money, and because they're kind of rare, people still want money for them. And then you realise that there's really nothing to them. There's Capcom redemption games too. There's a whole bunch of undumped CPS1 redemption games, I think. But they're never for sale. And obviously there's all the ones on STV hardware from Sega. There's probably other C2 ones from Sega. You know, there's so many redemption games out there. But that Ultraman one turned up on System 18, the racing one, looks impressive. Boards got reused for all sorts of things. The most annoying thing I had in an arcade recently is, well, apart from the fact that arcades aren't arcades and they're just all ticket machines, I went to the one in Nottingham, which is mostly ticket machines, and they did have a Time Crisis, was it 4 or 2? But even that, despite showing insert coins on the screen, had been hacked up to use a card reader. You literally aren't inserting coins in the arcades anymore. You're swiping a card. You're swiping, you know, your bank card or the cards they sell you for money, and everything pays out tickets. So you've even lost that sensation of inserting coins, even when the game is flashing insert coins. But what I was most surprised by is all the games are coded for it too. All the modern games specifically have instructions to swipe the cards for X plays. So it's a standard thing now. And you know, all these Raw Thrills games, which are terrible because they're terrible redemption games, they're all programmed for it. Even the ones that aren't redemption games, like I think the Batman one has the text for swipe card for X credits. It's just the way the arcades have gone. But to go to an arcade where everything is literally swipe card just feels wrong. Even if they're paying tickets, it felt bad enough anyway. When it's all just swipe cards, they've lost what made the arcades special. I think the arcades has even got like penny or coin or something in the name. It's like, well, that's silly. But yeah, it's a shame the analog circuits aren't emulated for the sound on things like this, because it would probably help a bit. It kind of looks like a Car Safari more than... It's called Car Hunt. But it does look like I'm in a forest, which, unless you're watching Top Gear, is not really where you expect a car to be. Why can I go faster in one direction? Oh, there we go. I cleared a maze. In America, is it more common then? Look, it's the same maze in a different colour. The most ridiculous thing I ever saw was one of those Guitar Hero arcades where it clearly hadn't been set up right in service mode. And it was asking you to insert, I think it was like 255 coins, and it was 1 coin of credit. So yeah, if anybody wanted to play Guitar Hero in that arcade, they were going to pay £255. Clearly something had gone wrong with the whatever backup RAM stored the settings, I think. And yeah, this is a 2-in-1 game, so you do get this Invinco game in here too. And this is the German version with the text in German. Like I said, there's no English version, no English thing with Car Hunt on, and no obvious original Japanese version. So I don't know if it's one of those games that kind of almost didn't get released, or they just shoved on these 2-in-1s for European countries. But Car Hunt is definitely an unusual one. And it did get got paired with things like this, which is one of those slightly different Space Invaders type games. Because everybody's making their own Space Invaders games back then. Yes, even Sega. It just lacks the charm of Space Invaders, really, doesn't it? It is in colour, but the enemies just aren't appealing. They're just random shapes, which turn into other shapes, and... nah. I don't like that big ticket Space Invaders thing in terms of the gameplay. It's over too quickly. Maybe in non-ticket mode it'd be more fun. I'm not sure that's the Raw Thrills one though. I think that's an actual Taito one. Oh. Yeah, preloaded cards, $10 minimum. The real arcades tend to just put everything on free play and charge you for entry, which is fine if they've got tons of classic games. I just need to pop up to like the arcade club one. I think they've got in Crewe. I think they've got one in Leeds too, but the Leeds one looks maybe a bit more out of the way. I'm not sure. Getting to either is kind of expensive though on trains, but I think that's one of the places that free plays you, and you pay an entry fee and get play as much as you want. And that's not too bad for proper classic games. But I don't think they're actually dumping things and contributing to MAME, unfortunately. At least not heard of them contributing anything, but maybe they've just not found any new sets. I don't know. It's always a shame when people don't contribute who have the boards, or don't check for old sets, especially when they're using MAME resources to actually, you know, fix things up. You're originally from Leeds. I think I've been to Leeds once or twice, but it's not somewhere of any real reason to go. But yeah, one of the arcade clubs is in Leeds, bit outside the city centre. You dumped a few for him. All right, that's fair enough, Ham. At least they are contributing then. That's good to know. That's good to know. Anyway, say Car Hunt, Invinco. That's the newly dumped German set. There's a French set of Car Hunt and Deep Scan. Say another 2-in-1. It's kind of ordinary, but I thought I'd show it off because it's a recent addition. What are we going to for next? What are we going for next? In fact, how long do we have left? Oh, about 10 minutes. About 10 minutes. Okay. I kind of want to do another Exidy one, which I've never played much of. So this is Exidy's Venture, another 81 game. Apparently they are contributing, Bob. I'm not sure if Galloping Ghosts are. Galloping Ghosts seem to have a strange position with MAME. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there, but again, it might just be their official position is they're not, and they're doing things for other people. Honestly, I don't know. Here we go with, say, a kind of curious early game. It's one of those with different rooms where as soon as you go in the room, they zoom in. Sun's Route 16 had similar. This is quite loud, isn't it? So I can't seem to do anything for the enemies here. So if I run around and go into a room, it zooms in, and then suddenly, you know. So this has got a sort of Dungeons and Dragons-y vibe to it, as long as your class is Archer with smiley face. The skeletons take forever to disintegrate. It's also a little bit berserky. You see the way that spawns that. Also, the bones kill you. Yeah, arcade roguelike D&D. It's a strange hybrid of a game, really. It's almost like Gauntlet before Gauntlet, even, in the sense of what it's trying to do, but obviously not with the multiplayer aspect. Not sure it's the best executed version of the concept, but no, it's pretty early. That room's cleared. Oh, this room is a challenge room. Get the diamond and get out of here, I guess. Oh dear. I failed with that. You've got Venture on the ColecoVision. I've not played the ColecoVision version. I've not really played this version much. I mean, I'll be honest, I was researching people's worst arcade games, and I saw a few mentions of this one. And then I fired it up and I thought, don't think I'd say it's the worst. It might have some issues, but for the time it was released, it seems like a solid idea. Treasure, getting out of here. Not getting out of here. Yeah, see if you can reproduce that bug. I did share that bug on stream, Crazy C, earlier. I don't know if you were here. But it reproduces on all versions that I can see, including the prototype with heads. I'm pretty sure it will happen on hardware. I think it's just an oversight in programming. They probably just didn't expect anybody to stay on that warp screen for so long. Not sure pixel perfect movements is a hallmark of arcade games. Oh, it doesn't kill you instantly though. Only if it crushes you. Get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. Here we go, go into this room. Snakes. I should play Snake Pit one day, shouldn't I? So I'm going into this room just to get an apple. Avoid the monster's outer world. Jolly little tune. Oh, I got shot. 2600 ColecoVision and television. Yeah, it kind of makes sense for the period it was released. I don't like this room. This room appears to be my nemesis. Maybe we should try the other door. Oh, out I go, out I go, out I go. And there we go. Got it, got it, got it. Level complete. You don't remember this on the television. I can't tell you. Check it if it's in the software lists. It probably was. If it's not, then maybe it wasn't. Can't shoot those. They're kind of Space Invaders like. Different room. Oh, I'm rescuing. I'm not rescuing anything because I crashed straight into. But yeah, Venture. Not one I'd really spent time with before. I don't see why it'd be in lists of worst games. I like these games that sort of zoom in on the rooms. This does Intrepid. I think it's got the room mechanic. Say Route 16 from Sun. It's not a bad little... Not a bad idea. And it plays quite well. The joystick controls are maybe a little sticky and laggy, which is maybe the bad side of this. The controls aren't perfect, unfortunately. I do like the concept, and for a game from, I think it's 81, is it? Yeah, 81. I mean, you can't complain for 81. Nice stylized font as well, not your standard arcade font. But, there's an undisclosed score. Okay. You may have my blessing if you venture into the dungeon, Flack you, and slay some of these monsters bringing evil to the world, as long as you keep a smile on your face. Anyway, so I think we might be able to squeeze one more game in. What do I want to play? This was mentioned at the start of the screen. This is Dora-chan. It's not the one I was thinking of, in fact. I was thinking of a different game. So yeah, let's play Dora-chan, which apparently is Alpha Denshi's first game. Oh yeah, I might have a look at Sheriff too. I'll probably squeeze both in. There's not going to be much to play here, I feel. So again, you're driving a little tank-like thing. Oh yeah, I remember this one. It feels like a game that I might have programmed on the Spectrum in BASIC with enemies that kind of just home in on you. Yeah, it's again, it would probably benefit from discrete sound emulation. It's kind of one of those that just feels incomplete without the sound. And reminds me a bit of Universal's No Man's Land, which was recently renamed in MAME for the Japanese set, because apparently the Japanese set was not called No Man's Land. It's one of those games that doesn't have a title screen, so we just kind of assumed the Japanese version of No Man's Land was called No Man's Land, but apparently it was not. The dog got me. Yeah, very early ADK. ADK, who would probably most famously go on to design the Neo Geo. This feels like a Sharp X1 game. To me, it feels like something that runs on kind of Space Invaders hardware. Sharp X1 games always feel more tile-based to me. This feels bitmap-based. Yes. I play in silence. Can I get this? Oh, that vanished before I could get it. But yeah, I can have a look at Sheriff in a moment, because I don't think there's much more to show with this one. Oh, got by the mouse. Oh, you touch the head for the bonus, do you? I thought I was trying to avoid the head. Like I'm trying to avoid everything else. So if I touch the head... Oh, okay. It just looks like another enemy. Oh yeah, go through the gap? I don't know. It's not entirely clear. I just assume anything bigger than me is an enemy. Do the cat, mouse and dog interact with each other in any way? I mean, it kind of looks like, you know, there's a cat, there's a dog and there's a mouse, and, you know, your general law of cat, dogs and mice would indicate they're not exactly friends, but is that a strategy? No, the cat and dog touch and they don't do anything. And there's a snake. That seems wrong. I get lots of points just doing that, though. I don't know how that could be wrong, because I think the hardware here must be incredibly simple, but that seemed wrong. I don't know the lore, so I don't know who the characters are meant to be anyway, to be quite honest. I'm just trying to get as many dots as I can. Uh-oh. Why does that not clear as soon as I collect it? That's weird. And there's trails on the snakes too. Maybe there are a few emulation glitches, because I can collide with the trail of a snake, which again feels a bit odd. I do not know. Yeah, unrecorded due to unlicensed characters. That does not surprise me. I don't know if there were emulation glitches then, because it didn't feel like it was clearing the playfield correct. You know, I was collecting the point things multiple times, and I can die by hitting trails of enemies that have moved. But maybe it's just junk from 1980 that, see, was recalled. I don't know. No sounds, Mitchell. Right, so I did say I'd have a little look at Sheriff before I end the stream, which is controlled by 2 sticks. Actually, that's not too bad, is it? An early Nintendo game. A 2 sticks and a fire button, of course. So dual stick, but there's also a fire button, so it's like Robotron, but you also actually have to press fire. It's not too bad, to be honest, even on keys. At least not on this stage where it's relatively slow paced. The movement is a bit laggy. The guy takes a while to respond to any pressures, but again, that's just how the game is designed. There we go. Guru did suggest this cow, so maybe Guru read your mind. But this will be the last game for the stream because we are over the 3-hour mark and these streams are 3 hours long. I think this was also released as Bandio, wasn't it, by Midway? Uh-oh. Got. Oh, Sheriff, what's Steven Part 2? Which one's Bandio then? I'm thinking of a different game, I guess. It's quite an IREM look to this as well, I feel. Looks more like an IREM game than a Nintendo game to me. But, everybody was influencing everybody else. It's nice to have sound in the game again. Sound adds a lot. I mean, all the little tunes here really make this game, I think. If this was silent, this wouldn't be fun. That's the problem with the games where there's no discrete emulation yet and they're just silent. You lose a lot of the appeal, especially on the more primitive ones. Where the bullet? I don't know. I don't really play the WarioWare games, Franco-chan, so somebody else would have to answer that one. So I'm not really that much of a Nintendo person. Nintendo really wasn't big over here. And so somebody posted I think it was Chinivision posted the statistics recently, and even in '92, you know, the NES had never even got the same market share as an Amstrad CPC. Never mind anything of the others. And the SNES didn't actually do much better either after that. And so, never really got into Nintendo. I think people a bit younger than me probably did, because by that time the systems were more popular. I missed out on a lot of Nintendo, yeah. He's got a lot of bullets in his gun. Anyway, so once this credit is over, the stream will be over. Yeah, no sound. No sound makes all the difference. I mean, even just the audio cues in games are so important. A game without sound to me is essentially a non-working game. I know they don't get marked as non-working, but it's... to me, a game without sound can be as bad as a game without any graphics. Well, I'm getting killed off pretty quickly on this level. Concentration, I think. Doesn't seem significantly more difficult. Yeah, Nintendo is. I mean, say we play some of the shoot 'em ups from Nintendo, and they kind of rip off Star Wars themes. There was a link to the Chambara gameplay. Yeah, Guru, I've not checked it out yet. I don't know if you managed to try and reproduce that glitch without a hacked ROM. It's pretty hard to reproduce. But anyway, I've got a channel full of Game & Watch things, Cow, and not had any problems with Nintendo, so I don't know. Anyway, as I said, that is the last game of the stream, because we are now on 3 hours and 11 minutes. So I think you've had your share of games. I hope I've covered a good variety. Maybe things people weren't aware of. Some worked better than others. Potentially some bugs discovered. I don't know. It's been a fun stream. So, and also I got to... You hacked the ROM, did you? I got to show off... No, did you scroll off the enemies as I showed on the stream? Because if you force scroll the top enemies off, they glitch. I thought that would happen on hardware, but I don't know. There were no glitch, and if you don't force scroll the enemies off the top, it doesn't glitch in MAME. But if you do force scroll them off the top, it gets a bit glitchy. I don't know. I'll have to check out the video and see what happens and if the situation is reproduced. But I've been a bit busy lately. I've just managed to squeeze these streams in the last 2 days, but otherwise I've had no real time. Hence why this is only the 4th proper August stream, and we're near the end of August. Anyway, thank you to everybody for being here and watching. And again, I think it's nice to be able to demonstrate some progress too, like Windy Fairies, Police 911 one. Not possible. That's interesting. I wonder why that would be. You do have to kind of just keep pushing right and attacking right with a hacked vulnerability, but I don't know. But yes, thank you everybody, and I will catch you on the next one, which may not be in August, because I know that for the start of next week I'm busy, but we'll see when it is. But I'll schedule it on YouTube a few hours before. And everybody have fun. Thank you for being here. It's been good chatting to everybody, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you on the next one. See you then. And thank you for the donation as well earlier in the stream. I'll just make sure there were no others actually, because I missed some before when there were no alerts. So that is something I should always do at the end of the stream, because I don't always get the alerts. So hold on a second. Just let me double check that, because I would hate to be missing somebody contributing, if I can even log into Streamlabs at the moment. Right, let me just check a donation count. No, the only donation on the stream was Neil, who donated £5 earlier through the super chat. So thank you, Neil, and again, I hope to see you on the next one. Take care, everybody, and I will see you soon. I think I already said that, but then I remember to check the donations. But anyway, bye-bye. Oh, I turned the mic. No.